Hey guys, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Come on in the chat, say hi. I'm not going to dive right into the topic until somebody comes in the chat and says, "Hey, what's up going on?" Or "Hey, what's going on, Calibrate Tools and DIY? How you doing?" Um, hey, I just want to say before we dive into the topic, I want to say I appreciate everybody, and I mean everybody that contributed to the channel getting to where it is right now. Um, I couldn't do it without you guys. I'm telling you right now, I could not do it without you guys. Um, and I really, really appreciate it. This is kind of a labor of love coming on here and talking about something I love, and hopefully you guys learning from it as well. That's what it's all about, right? We're dedicated to all things tools, all things home improvement, all things trades. Kind of mix it up for you guys, right? Because I really part of the mission, and I repeat this several times in my lives. Part of the mission is to just expose, it's not knocking college degrees or nothing like that. It's not doing that. Come on in the chat, guys. Say hi. Let me know you're here. Um, yeah, it's not, I don't, I had a conversation with someone the other day, and they felt I was knocking college degrees, saying that, don't go to college, don't get a degree. It's not worth it. That I was doing a disservice to young people by telling them not to go to college. I don't tell people not to go to college on this channel. I don't do that. I just present another option that has been overlooked, that has been kind of pushed to the wayside, giving giving young people, especially young people, but all ages, right? Showing them that the trades provide another avenue to a decent life, to make a great living, right? Uh, I'm not saying college degrees are trash. I'm just saying if you do go to college, just be smart about it. Just be strategic about what you do, right? The path, the choices you make when it comes to spending a lot of money just to get an education that you may or may not get an ROI on, right? So that's what I just want to clear that up. If anybody's wondering, that watch some of my lives and I mentioned college and this and that, and you shouldn't go. No, I never mentioned that at all. Okay, I just providing another option, right? The trades can actually fund your college education. College education is very necessary when it comes to certain fields, right? I mean, so no, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I had a conversation with that person, and it was funny because good friend of mine, and we cleared it up. But guys, yeah, appreciate once again. I appreciate you guys contributing to the channel. I couldn't do it without you, uh, and all of that good stuff. And the topic of this live, as you can tell, what's your mission for the upcoming year? This live is not about me. It's really about you guys. I want you guys to come on in and you know tell us what it is. What do you want to achieve? Right? Whether it's a small goal, large goal. I use the word mission in the title because I think mission has a stronger um, I don't know, has more power to it, has a stronger connotation when it comes to achieving things, right? Um, but missions, if you have a mission, it does involve setting goals, right? Setting goals, and that's a science in itself. How to set goals, and not just set goals, but achieve those goals. Okay, and so you won't just be a spectator in the game of life, right? You get on the field and you score some touchdowns. You may get sacked here or there, or you may fumble the ball here or there. But if you stay on the field and if you stay at it, you're definitely going to score some touchdowns. You're gonna make some stuff happen. That's just the way it is. And you're not always supposed to quote unquote win all the time, because there are great lessons in so-called failure, right? And I know it sounds cliche, but there's really no failure. There's only learning, right? So if you look at everything as a learning lesson, then life becomes a little easier. Becomes a little easier. You don't go into it with your you know with your blinders on. So and I think that's very important to understand, is your mindset when going out there on the field, right, of life, participating in the game of life, that you know you're prepared. The rules. You don't know all the rules, but one of the main rules is to stay focused, Okay, so let's talk about this. All right. You want to stay focused out there. You want to stay focused in life. Whatever your goals are, you want to make sure that you don't deviate. There's so many distractions out here today, especially for young people. I that's the trade-off, right? Today you have technology, you have the internet, you have all this stuff, all these platforms, and if you're not disciplined, right? If you're not disciplined, you will be knocked off your square all the time. I mean, so many things bombard you, right? I remember people used to say, "Oh, there's a billboard here, a billboard there," bombarding you with all kinds of messages. You turn on the TVs, you're being bombarded with this, the propaganda, this, that, and the other. Well, now you got this right here. You got this in your hand. I don't know if you guys can see it, a cell phone. Yeah, you got this in your hand right here. This could be one of the worst. This could be your worst enemy or your best friend. That internet, okay, that cell phone that everybody's eyes are glued to can be your worst enemy or your best friend, right? If you know how to use it, um, it could propel you to the heights of knowledge, the heights of success. If you don't know how to use it, it will drag you down. Why? Because it will steal your time, and time is the only resource that you cannot replenish, that you cannot get back. Okay, so it's very important to establish uh, a mission, right? Establish a mission for your life, or a mission for the month, or a mission for the next 6 months, a mission for the year to keep you on track, right? Write it down. I know you guys heard all this stuff before, but I kind of wanted to cap off the year with a mindset uh, live so we can be prepared going into next year to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. So we won't just be spectators and we watch everybody else surpass us because they have, they have the discipline, they have the focus to get where they need to be. Okay, guys? So stay focused, right? I mean, distractions are everywhere. It can come in the form of friends, family members, girlfriends, boyfriends, wives, husbands. It can come in the form of an actual job that you're on. That job, if you have a dream to do something else, if that job is too comfortable for you to leave, guess what? It's a distraction. If it's not painful enough for you to leave, you're going to stay there, right? You may complain here or there, but you're going to stay there and you're not going to make the moves necessary to accomplish that so-called dream that you have or that so-called goal you want to accomplish. It's all talk until you step out on the field, right? And you know what they say about people that are all talk, right? So go out on the field and get hit a few times, right? Get hit a few times, learn the plays, and make a run for it. That's the only way you're gonna get to where you're gonna get to. I mean, you can't or get to where you want to be. Okay, so number one, like I said, stay focused. Number two, organize your time and space. Organize your time and space. This is one thing that I have yet to master. I have yet to master organization. I mean, I look around in my environment sometimes and it's a mess. And I say, how did it get this way? Well, it got that way because I was neglectful of my environment, right? I just took it for granted. I tossed something there. And over time it just piled up and it's just a big mess now. So if you organize your space, um, it creates a better flow and it's less distractions, right? Kind of ties into the last one. If you have a messy space, that's more distractions in your environment, right? Because you're constantly worrying about the messy space. Oh, I got to clean it up, this and that and the other. So it takes away from your productivity as well. And not only that, when you're trying to find something, right? It's under a pile of papers or over here, over there, because you have no designated place for your tool. In my case, my tools, my paperwork, or whatever it is, right? Whatever it is you work with. Because you're disorganized, you spend half of the time trying to find something, right? When that time could have been spent uh, doing what you got to do, producing or creating, right? So it's very important to organize your space, right? And that's something, like I said, I have yet to master, and I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it, right? Organize your time, guys. That's the next thing. I said organize your time and space. Time and space are kind of related, right? Brother and sister, or whatever. Organize your time and space. Hey, Claudette, how you doing? Good to see you. Claudette says, as my mom would say, Disorderly house, disorderly mind. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Claudette hit the nail on the head with that, right? Um, yeah, it's just I gotta kick myself because I mean my I won't go into it, right? I pretty much made the point right there. Um, but as far as organizing your time, very important as well, right? Your time is a resource that you cannot replenish, you cannot get back. It's very important to organize your time. Okay, Perigirl Life Notes, how you doing? Hey, what's up, Perigirl Life Notes? Thanks for coming in and participating. Hey, you guys, come on in the chat, hang out with Claudette and Perigirl Life Notes, and let's talk about this. This is some very important stuff that can propel you to the heights of success or prepare you to the next level, propel you to the next level if you apply these things, and they're free, right? It's all a mindset thing, right? Doesn't cost you any money. It just takes a little discipline, a little focus, right? So as far as organizing your time, yeah, you guys heard the saying, we only have 24 hours in a day. Well, learn how to divide that time up into increments. Like it can be increments of 4 hours apiece, right? To accomplish a certain task within that time period, and you block out everything else. Okay, you turn your phone off, you turn whatever, you get all the distractions out of the way, and you take that 4 hour block of time, and I'll just use four. It doesn't have to be four. It could be whatever you want it to be. But learn how to block out certain portions of your time to accomplish a certain task without distractions. Okay. And sometimes that means blocking out your own mind, because your own mind could be racing with thoughts of who knows what, distracting you from what you need to do. And you look up, time's gone, and you didn't get anything accomplished. And that's not a good feeling. Okay. So learning how to organize your time and space, very important. It will propel you to the next level. I guarantee you. Okay. And all of this takes discipline. There's a lot of motivation talk out there, like you can go on YouTube and find a million motivation videos, right? But and that's great. Sometimes I listen to them myself, right? Because they pump you up and all that stuff. But after the motivation music and speeches stop, guess what? You got to take action, right? Motivation is good for like a feeling, but discipline doesn't involve a feeling. It involves just doing it. It involves organization, setting aside that time, and it doesn't care how you feel, right? It doesn't care that you're tired in the morning. It doesn't care that you feel like, taking a break. When you have true discipline, all those things become distractions, and you do what you have to do until your allotted time is up, right? So it's about discipline. Um, Forget your feelings when it comes to accomplishment, right? Just do it, right? And once you get into it, um, those feelings of tiredness and all this other stuff, or wanting to take a break and stuff, they go away because the discipline is stronger than motivation. I'm just telling you, discipline is stronger than motivation. Cultivate discipline in your life. And it could be a lifelong. It can be a lifelong thing to do that, right? I'm not saying I got that mastered myself. I get distracted, but I do know that without some form of discipline, um, none of that's you're not going to get anything accomplished, right? You have to have some form of discipline. Hey, good life, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in and getting some of this, uh, you know, some of this food for thought, right? We're talking. Okay, I'll put it like this, guys. These are tools. The channel's about tools, but these are the tools the mental tools, okay, that you need to build, right? You need to build a successful life. And when I say successful, that could mean something for everybody. It doesn't have to mean you make $1 million. Nothing. I just mean whatever you accomplished a specific goal, right? Um, so you have to have those tools. We talk, and if you look at the backdrop, you see all those hands holding up tools, physical tools, but you need the mental tools to actually build a successful life and accomplish what you set out to do, right? Um, Here's one that kind of we all need to think about, and that's number 3. It says take inventory of the people you associate with. Okay, take inventory of the people that you associate with. Now, if you're a social butterfly and all that stuff, There's nothing wrong with that. Social butterflies in this day and age, they make a lot of money. I mean, because I mean, with the internet and these platforms, if you're a social butterfly, you can leverage today's technology in today's world to really do a lot of great things, right? Um, but everybody has to take an inventory of who they hang around with. Who's you guys heard that saying, the first I don't know, I forget, it was look at the five people that you hang out with, and if they're all on a certain level, you're going to be the number six and all that stuff. So, well, the way I look at it is, you should, in your circle, right? Whoever that is in your circle, it should always be somebody maybe more successful than you, or that has accomplished more than you have. Somebody you can learn from, right? Somebody that can teach you things. Someone who can mentor you. If you're into the mentor thing, somebody who you can model when it comes to success or where you want to be. So, but before you do any of that, you got to know where you want to be, right? You got to know what you want to achieve. You got to have a mission. Just going back to number one, have a mission. Going back to that, right? And whatever that is, seek out people in that area who are successful, who have achieved a certain level where you want to be, right? And look at what they do. Seek them out. I remember, I, I sought out a lot of people that were way ahead of me, and I'm still on the path, right? I seek them out. I've sought out people in my past that have helped me out, who have been successful. Good life. I float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Hey, I hear that. I hear that. Good life. There you go. Yeah, seek people out who are more successful than you, right? Put your ego aside and say, okay, what can I learn from this person, right? And they don't have to be the perfect people, right? Hey, everybody has their thing, right? So you don't have to put them on a pedestal, but even the worst person in the world, you can learn something from, right? If you have the right perspective. Don't expect them to be perfect. They can have some really bad traits, but they may be good in a certain area that you need to get good at yourself, and you can learn from that. So put your ego aside, put your judgment aside. I'm not saying don't be discerning, and don't you don't have to go out to lunch with them or go out to dinner with them, but you may want to pick their brain or something like that. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. Claudette, motivating and uplifting people around you that stimulate your mind. Absolutely. Yeah. You need people that's going to stimulate you, that's going to, plant seeds of growth in you, right? That's who you want to hang out with. That's who you want to associate with. And I know all of us, there are people that you say, oh, no, you're looking down on people. No, it's not about looking down on people that are not, or who you believe are underneath you, right? You treat people with respect, whoever that is. I could, whether it's a bum on the street or a homeless person, or, because any one of us could be homeless in a minute if we make the wrong moves. We can be in jail. We can be, it could happen just like that, right? It could happen just like that. So, be humble about it, and seek people out who are where you want to be, and watch who you hang around with. You hang around with the wrong crowd, you're gonna usually end up, long enough. I say if you hang around them long enough, you can take on some of those traits, and you don't want to do that. Good life. I surround myself with like-minded people. Yeah, absolutely. And make sure that whatever's like-minded to you is productive, right? It's productive, constructive for you to move on, to get what you need to get. All right. Okay, guys, I'm not gonna make this too long, but the next one is to set goals and deadlines, right? Whether that's goals in your personal life, financial life, relationship life, career life. Okay. You want to travel the world. That's a personal goal. You want to travel to 50 countries in 1 year. Go ahead. But set that goal. And but you don't want to make goals that are too unrealistic, okay? Because if you don't achieve them in the amount of time that you set for yourself, it may be disappointing and a letdown. So learn how to measure your goals with some reason, okay? So you won't make so unrealistic goals that have you disappointed in the end. All right. All right, guys. Here's some more. When you're talking about goals, you want to be specific, right? You want to be specific about your goals. You don't want to be broad. You want to be too broad. Goals that are not really defined. You want to have, if you have a long-term goal, you want to divide that goal into short-term goals. Okay, just divide it up, right? And then you accomplish each one as you go, and then next thing you know, it's going to be the long-term goal is going to be accomplished. So learn how to divide your goals up, right? Have a long-term goal, but also have short-term goals that you can accomplish, that are realistic, that you can achieve in you know a short amount of time, and just keep knocking them out, right? If you have debt, if you had a lot of debt to get rid of or something like that, just you know uh divide the debt into a certain amount and knock it out. Just keep knocking it out. That's the example for you. Perry Good Life knows attainable mini goals are great ways to plan. Yeah, absolutely. Perry Good Life knows. She phrased it as mini goals. Yeah, that's a very good phrase. Okay, when you have so you can have a long-term plan, but also have short-term measurable goals, achievable goals, right? That won't leave you disappointed, because if you can't achieve your short-term goals, then maybe you should be a little disappointed in yourself, right? Because the short-term goals are really not meant for you to not achieve, right? So, but if you are disappointed, don't dwell in that space too long. That's another trap, right? The mind is so many. The mind is full of traps to sabotage yourself, right? So you got to watch it. You got to watch your thoughts, right? Because a lot of us, we self sabotage. We're right at the cusp, right at the brink of success, and we do something to sabotage our success, right? It's like they have this thing. I used to study some philosophical works back in the days, and they have this concept called the dweller on the threshold. The dweller on the threshold. What is the dweller on the threshold? The dweller on the threshold, if I remember correctly, is the amalgamation, okay, of all your fears. When I say amalgamation, it means uh, all your fears, negative thoughts, doubts, all that combined into one entity, one being, and sometimes personified as a uh, as a creature of some sort, usually a monster, and you have to conquer that, right? You have to conquer that monster before you move on to the next level. It's like a troll under the bridge type of thing, right? You got to conquer that troll, the David and Goliath scenario. You got to slay the giant. You got to slay the giant before you can move on to to the next uh to the next level. Kind of like a video game, right? We see that analogy all the time in video games, and it's kind of an analogy to life, right? We went through school and we had to graduate to the next class, and if we didn't pass a certain class, we don't move on. It's simple as that. So, all right. Very Good Life Notes. Failure is a part of goal setting, and it also encourages to continue. Get up and try again. Yeah. Failure is just another word for learning, right? But a lot of us have been taught if you're failure, that's it. You're no good. There's nothing, uh, nothing good about about you, and that's a bad way to look at things, right? Um, you got to get up and try again. You got to get up and keep trying. Don't give up, right? You only fail in life, in my opinion, is if you give up. That's really true failure right there. You just stop. And let's qualify that. When I say give up, sometimes you change course. That's not giving up, right? But if you just give up on life and you sink into a mode of depression because something didn't work out the way you thought it should work out, um, and you just stop, right? You don't pivot. You don't look at other opportunities. You just give up and say, "Oh, that's it. I'm done." That's sad. Okay, Good life. Is that the same as ruminating? Uh, ruminating is, um, yeah, to ruminate is to think deeply on something. It's not quite the same, but it's to think deeply on a subject. If I'm not correct. So yeah, guys, you want to create achievable goals, okay, realistic goals and deadlines. Okay, uh, there's a somebody I know, they don't like deadlines. They don't, you know, they don't want to hear it. It's like a swear word or something. Uh, but the concept can be very useful. The concept of deadlines, the concept of time bound uh, goal setting is very good, because you don't necessarily in my opinion, it's the setting of deadlines that's important. Okay, it forces you to become more focused um, on getting the job done within a certain amount of time. Once again, if a goal is too broad, there's no time bound designations to certain accomplishments. There are no deadlines. Then it's really not a goal, right? In my opinion, you should have a deadline. You should have a deadline, or you should have deadlines that you may or may not achieve that deadline. You may or may not meet that deadline, but um, I guarantee you, if you don't have a deadline, if you don't have time bound um, goals, then you're more likely to not achieve it at all. But if you have deadlines, you get probably, and if you're focused and you're doing everything else, you're probably going to land really close to that deadline. Even if it's a little after or a little before, you might beat it. All right. So, yeah, um, you definitely want that. So, yeah, think about it, guys. Think about divide your life into your personal goals, financial goals, relationship goals, and career goals. And some people may even add spiritual goals, depending on what that means to you. Okay. But when it comes to spiritual goals, sometimes you have no control of that, right? It just that's beyond you. It's not like you can control the universe, but you can't control how your perspective. You can't control your perspective about those things, right? Uh, so yeah, fitness, health goals, right? Very important. What's the point in setting all these goals and doing all of this if you don't take care of your health, right? What's the point, right? You're working, 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 and one day you just drop dead because you work so much, and you neglected your diet, you neglected your exercise, all that stuff. So you neglected family, you neglected relationships, all because you work for money, right? Um, well, that's not really not the purpose of life, right? So it's nothing wrong with hard work and working and having a great work ethic, but that there should be you know some restrictions to that as well, because that can get extreme and out of hand. And a lot of people, they work to death, and they work themselves to death, literally, right? All right, Claudette says setting a goal is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. Very good one, Claudette. Let's talk about that. That may sound, to some people, that may sound, what does that mean, invisible to visible? Well, everything that you see with your physical eyes came out of something, right? It came from somewhere. And I just don't have to get too metaphysical, right? But somebody had to build, somebody had a thought of a car, and they did, they went through the steps to manufacture and build a car that you drive. That seat you're sitting in, that screen you're looking at right now with me on it, that was a thought in someone's mind. Okay, that was a goal in someone's mind. All right, to have a computer screen, a cell phone, whatever it is, before it came into existence, right? Well, any one of us can do that, right? But we just have to learn the art of visualization, right? We do it all the time anyway, but most of us are unconscious of what we're visualizing every day. For instance, you wake up in the morning in a bad mood, or you had a bad night, or you had an argument with your loved one, right? And you're in a bad negative state of mind. You're actually visualizing at that point. You're visualizing, right? All things negative, negative outcomes, negative instances that have happened. And usually when you stay in that frequency, nothing really goes right. So sometimes, we got to look, if nothing's going right, sometimes we got to examine our own thoughts. We have to examine our own thoughts. Where are we mentally at that moment? And why is all this stuff happening to us? Okay. I'm not saying that's 100% of the time, but a lot of times it's because of our own thoughts, right? So the invisible, which is our thoughts, which is what's right here, eventually become the visible in our own lives, right? And you see it. I mean, that's just existence itself. It's right. I mean, what I'm saying is not some uh, philosophy. It's real. Just look around you. It's there. Kamenu guardianship. Hey, Kamenu. Huh. Kamenu is the redemption of the latecomers of 2020. Okay, you got me on that one, Kamenu. I don't know exactly what that's about. But thanks for that. Give me something to look into. All right. Very Good Life Note says, if you are an employee and an entrepreneur, it's important to set them together along with relationships, health, and family. Yeah, absolutely. Whether you're an employee or entrepreneur or whatever, you're setting goals. You know what? You're setting goals whether you know it or not. The difference between someone that you see as successful and someone you see as not successful is that the successful person managed and was aware of the goals that they were setting. If you're just walking around partying all the time, wasting your time, you're setting a goal, but the end result of that goal is nothing productive. You have nothing to show for that, right? You have nothing to show for it. So yeah, we're always setting goals, regardless of what we are, what we're doing unconsciously. The goal is to be conscious of what you're doing all the time. If you're conscious of what you're doing, conscious of your thoughts and actions, then a lot of things are not a surprise to you. You realize, hey, that happened to me because I was thinking this way, or I made that choice. So why should I be mad at that person because of a choice I made, or a state of mind I was in, right? So when you hear about we create our own reality, that's what it means. By our own decisions, we do create our own reality. Yeah. And of course, we all create it together, right? I'm not saying that if someone gets robbed or murdered, that they created that reality. Now we're getting into a whole nother conversation with that. What I am saying is that on a broad level, all the choices and decisions that everybody in this world makes, we created together, and then so there are really no random acts. If they seem random, so knowing that you can create your own reality, whatever it is. You're doing it anyway, so you might as well just be conscious of it and take hold of it like you would take hold of a horse, right? A wild horse. The mind is like a wild horse, and if you have to train it, right? You have to train it. You have to break it so it can do what you can do what you need it to do. Good life. Good life says deadlines could bring on anxiety. Yeah, that's why some people don't make deadlines. Deadlines don't have to bring on anxiety. All they are mile markers that you put. Like, you're driving down the freeway and you see the mile marker 46, mile marker 47. That's what deadlines are. Just pretty much mile markers that can track your progress, right? It's not to make you nervous or, oh, I'm not gonna meet it. No, it's to track your progress and give you more focus on what you're doing so you can actually accomplish things. Okay. Claudette says, I read that once before. Yeah. Okay, Claudette. I bet you did. I wonder, uh, maybe something I said a little earlier. All right. Very Good Life Notes. Deadlines will cause more anxiety without plans and goals to. So a good way to anticipate the anxiety is to plan what ifs in the upcoming deadlines. Yeah. Uh, planning is very important, guys. Planning is very important because if you're planning correctly, you're planning for all the variables, right? What could happen if this happened, you know, and you're it's like, I'm not saying planning an escape hatch, right? But it's looking at all the variables of a certain action, a certain choice you would make, right? Um, and judging each all those variables and saying, okay, on average, this is a better choice than that choice. All right. Everything's gonna have variables. Nothing is really black and white when it comes to choices. All kinds of things can happen. Some things happen that you don't even expect to happen. You may run into a person that may have an impact on you that you didn't expect at all, right? What do you do with that? And then now you find yourself making all these other choices. You may run into a situation, same thing, right? It happens all the time. In order to master that, instead of getting surprised and getting caught off guard, think ahead. What if you do run into that situation? What if this happens? What if you run into that person that does that to you or this to you? What are you going to do? Right. So it's all about your response. We can't control the things that happen on an individual level. We can control some things, but we can't control everything. But we can definitely control 100% of how we respond to everything that does happen to us. And I like that Perigo Live Notes because it makes you think about when you talk about what's your mission. That's the title of this live. What is your mission? It involves all of that, right? Because you ever heard? I know you guys have heard that saying: if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, right? Um, yeah, I mean, you can plan all you want, but like Mike Tyson said, if uh, once you get hit in the face, it's it's over, right? And we're gonna get hit in the face in life. Okay, understand that we are gonna get hit in the face. They're gonna be people that you know do things that are really gonna set us back. Understand that human beings we all have failings, right? We all have failings. So when we're dealing with human beings, don't expect everybody to be loyal. Don't expect everybody to be truthful. Um, it's just how it is. And once we understand that, then it may hurt when stuff happens, but we're not surprised. We're not crushed. We we do what we have to do, right? We understand the human condition. Very good left. Yeah. Does Kameno have to do with the protection of the sacred goals we make? I don't know. Let me look it up. Let me look up Kameno because they didn't necessarily explain. Kameno, often called lion dogs in English, are statue pairs of lion-like creatures, either guarding the entrance or the honden or inner shrine of many Japanese Shinto shrines, or kept inside the inner shrine itself, where they are not visible to the public. Oh, I got it now. I like that. I get it. So I wish I was more adept with StreamYard so I could put a picture up of what I saw. But where's back? Kameno guardianship. Yeah. Kameno, just like I read, are these dogs apparently that guard the inner shrine of some Japanese temple. I'm not sure, but it ties into what I was saying about the guardian, about the dweller on the threshold who guards the next level. Okay. Um, Good Life says trolling. No, nobody's trolling here. But yeah, you have to conquer that. You have to conquer the dweller, man. Whatever fears you have, all the negative things that you ruminate on, all this stuff is in each of us, right? Some call it the dark side. We all have that, right? But we have to conquer that in order to get to the next level. I know it sounds cliche, but yeah, I see the correlation between Kameno guardianship. I get what you're saying right now. All right, good life. Yeah. So, just ask yourself, where do you want to be? Where do you want to be in the next 3 months, 6 months? Divide the year into months. Where do you want to be, right? Most of us don't even do that, where we just live day to day, month to month, hoping things will change. Nothing happens until you make a decision. Nothing happens until you just put your foot down and say, no, no more. I'm not going to be in this state anymore. I'm moving to the next level. I'm going to do whatever I have to do. I'm going to, you know, those people over there I've been hanging out with, those family members or those friends, no more. You know, uh, I'm eating this way. I'm going to stop eating this way. Right. I want to be healthy. Right. I don't just work, and I have no health. Right. I'm gonna manage my money correctly. Right. Even if I'm not making a lot of money, I'm gonna take whatever I make and pay myself first. Right. I'm gonna put some money aside, then I'll pay my bills. Right. Because bills are always going to be there. Right. They don't care about your life. They just want their issue. They want their money. Well, you go ahead and take some of that money, whatever you make. I don't care if it's $15 an hour, $10 an hour. You take 25% of that and you put it away somewhere, right? Don't touch it. Or you invest it, right? I mean, the internet is all kinds of investment advice is all over the internet. It's full of it, right? They're not all good, not all sound, but at least, I don't know, read a book or two. Just make a goal. Hey, I'm going to read a book about investments, money management, um, every day or every month, right? I'm going to read a page a day. It doesn't have to be the whole book in one week. As long as you're ingesting that good information over time, it's going to start to affect your thinking, affect your consciousness, and you're going to start making better decisions, right? You're going to start realizing uh, what the what decisions you've been making wrong, right? It's kind of looking in the mirror and saying, hey, I'm this book is talking about this, but I'm here, so that means okay, there's a disconnect here. So yeah, um, relationship goals, right? People in your life. Don't forget to appreciate everybody in your life that means something to you. That tell them you love them. Tell them thank you for doing this, because as we all know, right? People are out of here all the time. I mean, you got kids today committing suicide like it's nothing, right? Just taking their own lives like like uh like it's going out of style. I remember when I was coming up, that was unheard of when I was coming up, right? And but today it's Very Good Life Notes. Title of the book is The Dweller of the Threshold and How Fear May Be Defeated by William Walker Atkinson. Okay. Yeah, I think that the author of that name of that author, I think I've heard of before. But yeah, that's what that is, man. The dweller on the threshold. We all confront the dweller all the time. It's like that little imp on your shoulder telling you to do this, do that, or whispering in your ear, oh, I'm not good enough, or no, you shouldn't do this, or you know, looking at someone else and comparing yourself to them. All these self-destructive thoughts that creep up on us. But um, that's the dweller right there, right? We got to conquer the dweller all the time. I mean, all you got to do is turn on the news, turn on even the internet, and you see nothing but negativity, right? And foolishness out there to distract you and take you away from the. But you know what? It was really designed like that, I think, right? Um, if you're doing something worthwhile in this world, if it's not met with resistance, um, is it really worthwhile? If you go to the gym and you lift 20-pound plates is that going to get you anywhere? No, you got to put some real resistance on that barbell in order for you to build muscle, right? Well, that's how life is, and mentally, it's like that. Even all of that, personally, in relationships. Who said relationships are easy? No, they're not. They're not always easy, but they're not meant to be easy. What things are meant for you to grow and get better, right? So don't ask for something to be easier. Ask for you to get better. Ask for you to get stronger. Um, right? Because you want to grow there. Now, when it comes to focus, I got an analogy for you, and I'm gonna let you guys go. All right. Every time I think about focus, um, I love this analogy right here. Any of you ever took a magnifying glass and a leaf, and when the sun was out, you took that magnifying glass and you burnt that leaf with the magnifying glass? Say yes in the chat if any of you ever done that. Well, that's the perfect analogy for what I'm talking about here. If you have that magnifying glass focused on that leaf and you keep it still, the light from the sun will be focused through the glass onto the leaf into a more focused beam of light that's hot enough to burn that leaf up. To start, you see the smoke start, and then next thing you know, the flames appear. But if you're shaking the glass around, you're not holding it steady, then you don't have enough focus, right? You don't have enough focus. You don't keep it steady. And it's going to take a lot longer to burn that leaf up. So it's the same thing in life, right? If you got a goal and you're supposed to be focused on it, but you're all over the place, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to take much longer to happen because you're not focused, you're not steady, you're not still. You're not focusing your mind on that goal with enough stillness, right? If you're distracted here, there, and everywhere, and you expect it to happen, you look up and say, well, why didn't this happen? Well, you wasn't focused enough a lot of times. Okay, so that's my analogy, perfect analogy for what I'm talking about here. Prager Life said, yes. Claudette says, yeah, in school, yes. Prager Life also says, was trying to start a fire as a kid. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, guys. So, Daryl, the finisher. Focus is key. Hey, Daryl, how you doing? Thanks for popping in there. I can't agree with you more. I appreciate that. Thank you, Daryl. Yeah, guys. So that analogy pretty much sums up this whole live. Like I want it to be a mindset live, so we could at least take some gems, some nuggets from this, go into the new year, swinging, strong. And remember, you're here. You're here for a reason, guys. You're here for a reason. Every last one of you are here for a reason. You're not just here. Okay, you're here to accomplish something that nobody else on this planet but you can accomplish. Okay, because this is a purpose-driven universe, right? It's not just a haphazard, accidental, by chance thing. Everything in this universe, including you, was created for a specific reason, right? So don't look at the celebrity or the famous person or the rich person and compare yourselves to them. But what you should compare yourselves is when you're looking at certain people is to their work ethic, their discipline, their focus, their organization. Yeah, compare that, but don't want what they have. Want what they had, the tools, the inner tools that want those things instead of wanting what they have. Okay, because some people, they did some things that are not as ethical as they could be to get those things, right? But when it comes to achieving something or these rules, it doesn't care about ethics. Focus doesn't care about ethics or morals. Organization doesn't care about ethics or morals. Okay, focus on, they don't care. So you can still learn from even those people, right? You don't have to do what they do. You can stay away from them, but say, they had to be kind of focused to get what even those things, right? Even if it was unethically or illegally. All right, guys. So hey, always something to learn out there. I appreciate every last one of you coming on here. Okay, Claudette, Perigo Life Knows Good Life, Daryl the Finisher. Appreciate all of you guys coming on here supporting the channel. Don't forget to go to calibrate.com, sign up for that, sign up for the email list. We send out a newsletter every month with some good tips on home improvement, DIY. Check out some of the products we have on there. I'm constantly expanding the product line. Support the channel by grabbing some of those products, guys. And I love every last one of you guys. Come on back and we'll talk again. I appreciate you. Take care.